Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Hogdale. And, this morning I was, at work, as you do, checking Twitter in my downtime as I was bored. And I saw quite the upsetting news this morning. I saw that Lucas Giolito had, that he'd torn his UCL and that he might need Tommy John. And, my first reaction to this news uh, was not anger. My first reaction to this news as a true egomaniac was, man, I wish I was at home right now so I can record myself on video. So now I'm here, and now we can actually talk about it and like really have a full dialogue. So this is bad. This is really bad. To quote Tyler Milliken this morning when he heard the news immediately, this is about as dark as it can get because the Red Sox, again, to quote Milliken as he said, went into this offseason needing two starting pitchers. They now have -1 starting pitcher acquisition with Giolito going out with Tommy John. Now, one would think a franchise that did its due diligence and needed as much pitching as it did would go out and sign another pitcher that is not Lucas Giolito. Unfortunately, the team you cheer for and I cheer for is the Boston Red Sox, and currently is owned by John Henry, who I don't know if anyone has ever had a tighter grip on their purse strings. His his wallet has a chastity belt on it at the moment, and it's just bad. This is really quite bad. And I was talking with my co-host and I was DMing him. I'm actually very much not as angry as I was earlier. If you would have caught me right after this news had came out, it actually probably would have been quite entertaining. Who knows? I might work myself back up to that level of anger. We'll see as this video keeps going along. But I was talking to Ed, and I tweeted about this afterwards too, and I was like, this could be the start of what could potentially be a disaster season. And by disaster, like I saw like some people after I said that be like, really a disaster? It's like, what do you mean? Like the seeds have been planted a while ago. It's like a disaster is not winning 70 or 80 games, which is what they've done the last 2 years. A disaster season is like they win 60 games and it's just a complete shit show from front to back. And it is not because I got this reply a couple of times from people. It's like, oh, well, Lucas Giolito is worth 10 wins. Like, listen, I understand that we are all on Twitter, but I'm gonna need to ask the Twitter population who responds to me, for the love of God, please, use more than two neurons in your brain at the same time. I know it's hard to like have one neuron fire subsequently after the last one that you used, but we need to string together some actual fucking coherent thoughts here and having a real dialogue. When I say that like the season could go downhill from here because of Lucas Giolito. I'm not saying that because Lucas Giolito is this, Cy Young contending 10-win player. He's not. The role he was going to fill for this Red Sox team is one that is extremely important because no one could do it last year, which is eat innings. Lucas Giolito was slotted to like fill minimal 150 innings. Most of us thought he could easily do 180 because he's done it multiple times before. This is a guy who had a clean bill of health before getting here. This dude missed 6 total games in his entire career before coming to Boston. And when I say like this could snowball into a disaster, this is assuming that the Red Sox don't sign Montgomery, which sounds like they don't. They're not going to, or at least that's how it's appeared. That's what the vibe I've gotten from anyone who actually is following the team closely, or reporters who actually know what the team is talking about, and not, reporters who are mouthpieces for Scott Boras. You fucking losers, all of you. Shame on all of you. But anyway, back to the point of, yeah, the dudes who follow this team don't think Montgomery is coming here. And if you go into this season, with literally the same staff that finished last place last year, with no new additions, and the guy you did bring in, again, out for the entire season, it's bad vibes. It's bad vibe. Vibes are extremely, extremely important for a baseball team. And I don't know, how often can you tell the players on your team that this year doesn't fucking matter before they really start to believe it? I really feel like there has to be a limit before like eventually the players just, they grow to have apathy. It's like, okay, well, what the fuck am I even playing for? Because every indication shows as well, and this stacks on top of it, that Alex Cora isn't going to be here next year. Alex Cora has zero indication that he's coming back. So, like, what, these guys feel like they have to play for Cora? He's not even going to fucking be here. He's going to leave. And I don't blame him for leaving. It seems like like everyone from like Breslow to Cora at some point has been lied to by the front office, which at least it's refreshing to know that like we as the fans weren't the only one that Warner and Henry were lying to. And along with like just the vibe aspect, there's just the practical aspect. We watched what happened to the Red Sox last year with the pitching staff. At some point, the bullpen just falls apart from overwork. The team completely imploded at the end of the season last year. It was a shadow of a baseball team at the end of the season. Big reason for it is because the bullpen, it just died from overwork. And you're going to do it again? Like you're going to hope and pray that things go right? Like, okay, so Bayo has to take the next step. Pivetta has to keep being a world beater. You're going to hope that Houck can figure it out and throw 6 innings consistently? Like, you're going to put Winkowski in the rotation, even though this dude was getting burnt out multiple times last year in the bullpen, like, where he would just be terrible after stretches from overuse, and you're telling me he can just transition to the rotation? But no, our saving beacon of hope is Cooper Criswell? Oh no, we're going to throw him into the rotation, and wow, what a great solution. Or we'll go fucking sign Michael Lorenzen, which, to quote my good friend Ed Hand, would be the equivalent of putting a Band-Aid with Bert and Ernie on it on a fucking stab wound. Like, that's what we're going to do. That'll save the season. It's just terrible, man. How many times can you tell players that the season doesn't fucking matter until they believe it? That's the real question we're going to ask here. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. By the way, again, all of this invalid if they sign Montgomery. If they sign Montgomery, the optimism returns. We're back. Back in business, baby. The optimism. Sound the positivity horn if Montgomery is signed. I have my doubts. I severely have my doubts that Montgomery is signed. If he is, though, video is completely invalid. You can come beat the shit out of me, too. For free. I'll first class tickets to Iowa. You can come beat the shit out of me. But man, it's just, this is my optimism. I was just starting to get optimistic about the team again, man, before this Giolito injury. I was coping myself into believing, you know what? Hey, it's not ideal. Montgomery isn't here. It's not ideal, but Giolito can give us some innings. Bayo can take a step forward. Houck can take a step forward. Pavetta's going to be really good. The bullpen is really good. And all of a sudden, we're here. We're here. Because Giolito, like, he's out for the year, and people are saying, okay, well, if you look at the rotation, on paper, it's not that bad. There's going to be other injuries, man. There's going to be other injuries, and they aren't going to have the depth to supplement it. Like, having one guy there who could actually throw workhorse innings was crucial to what we could do this year with the bullpen and with the team in general. And they get no due diligence. And Craig Breslow has made exactly 2 moves of consequence this offseason. Neither of them are going to play opening day. It's infuriating. It's fucking maddening. It's maddening. I don't blame Breslow for this, by the way. I loved the Giolito move. I like the Vaughn Grisham move. It's just a brutal stretch of luck. Brutal. From what all indications, they aren't willing to spend money to supplement it. And it pisses me off so much, man. It really just does go to ruin my day. Because if this year truly doesn't matter and you were going to tank, then go all in and tank. Trade Kinley. Trade Chris Martin. If you're not, either extend Pivetta or trade him. It doesn't make sense. They're doing just enough to have the shade of maybe being competitive if every single thing goes correctly. because they're too fucking cowardly to commit to the full rebuild. No, let's just deceive our fans, front office, and coaches at every single turn. The only way this season still ends up as a success in any manner is if Andrew Bailey is genuinely like God. He's just the reincarnation of God. Like the greatest pitching coach in the history of mankind. Because everyone needs to take a step up now. And dudes needed to take a step up for them to be like competitive with Giolito. So now you take Giolito away from that. It's like, okay, now even more guys need to step up. None of these guys can afford to regress, because if they regress, well, hey, you're fucked. Cool. Enjoy mediocrity. And it's so tough because on paper, this team, like, it's like I said, like with Giolito out, like, yeah, obviously they should still win 70 games. It's just a gut feeling thing. It's a vibe thing where I'm like, when I look at all that the teams out there that lost like 60 or that won only like 60 games, what were the things that led up to it? And I feel like whether or not the people on the field give even a little bit of a shit, it matters a lot. It's going to be really hard for these players to care when the front office does literally nothing but tell them that this year does not matter. I believe guys like Cassis, I think he'll perform either way. I think Devers will perform either way. And then other than that, and hopefully it works out. And listen, I could be overreacting, maybe. It's just frustration. It sucks. My optimism over the years has just been whittled away thoroughly and more thoroughly by the Red Sox. And like the little hope, the little burning fire of optimism that rose up through the ashes this year has just been brutally snuffed out. And hey, you know what? Maybe in a week, I'll have coped myself back into thinking that this team might have a chance to do something. I think no matter what, there's still pieces on this team that will be fun to watch. Like day in, day out, it'll still be fun to watch Tristan Cassis. It'll still be fun to watch Brian Bale develop. It'll still be fun to watch Rafael Devers. It'll be cool to see if Story can bounce back. But man, it's just pain. Just pain of staring another season where mediocrity is the upside. And like what, everyone hits their potential and you win like 85, 86 games this season? Like, are we being serious? It's just a bummer, man. But I don't know. Talk to me in the comments, guys. Let's have a dialogue. Tell me if I'm overreacting. If I am overreacting, we'll reevaluate. We'll have a pod next week. Thank you so much for indulging in my madman rants. I appreciate any single person who clicks on this video. You can find me Twitter at Hogdale _. You can find my podcast with my friend Ed and my good friend Brady, where we talk about the Red Sox. We'll have an episode next Sunday. Yeah, we'll see how my head's gone at that point at Pod by the River. Any one of you who listen to this, I appreciate y'all. Have yourselves a great night.